Okay everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to talk about how to get your best possible parse on Vaelastrasz. What's the rest of his name? Vaelastrasz the Corrupted? Let's look that up. Vaelastrasz the Corrupt. Today we're going to be talking about how to do the most DPS on Vael without pulling aggro and wiping your raid, and how to get a great parse and the best possible parse you can during this fun encounter. So Vael is the second boss of BWL. Vael is a fast, fun fight where, like my previous guide with Razorgore, a lot of things happen very quickly, and with the addition of Vael's mechanic, Essence of the Red, you have so much rage you don't even know what to do with it. So we're going to go ahead and look at what to do with your rage, how to DPS on Vael, and how to do just the most damage in general. So let's go ahead and take a look at my fight in real time, and then we'll slow things down, go over what I did, what my thinking was, and show you how to do the most damage.
5 seconds.
4,
Go.
3,
Big heals on collect.
2, 1.
Yeah, I see it. Heal. Collects run away. Heal. Big heals on collects. I think he can lift on it.
Okay, so here we are standing in front of Vael. The tanks are getting ready, and we're getting ready to pull. Now, a couple things that I said in the last video, but once again, in order to parse on this fight, you're going to need full world buffs. Don't lose them on the first fight. This is a early fight in BWL, so a lot of people still have all their world buffs. All of the top parsers have them, so you're going to want to have all of them, get them before the raid, and keep them through the first fight in order to be very competitive on this fight. Secondly, full consumables as well. You shouldn't have to reapply any of your consumables from the first fight, but if anything dropped off or if you forgot to reapply anything, now is the time to check as you're sitting in front of Vael getting ready. Consumable guides and world buff guides will be linked in the description. So when we're sitting here getting ready to attack Vael, there's a couple things that we need to think about before the fight starts that we're going to need to be cognizant of. So with Vael's mechanic, Essence of the Red, we're going to have essentially unlimited rage. This means that we're going to be able to heroic strike on every single attack while also bloodthirsting, whirlwinding, and executing once he hits execute phase on cooldown. Normally during execute phase, you're not used to queuing a heroic strike with execute because you'll rage starve yourself very quickly. In Vael, that's not a thing. Consumables as well that you want to bring along to Vael are, depending on how good your tanks are, you're either going to use a Mighty Rage Potion or a Limited Invulnerability Potion on this fight. Mighty Rage Potion if your tanks are pros and they're just killing it and threat is not an issue. A Limited Invulnerability Potion if you're going to be right up on the threshold of pulling aggro and you're going to, I'll explain more about what a lip does. Limited Invulnerability Potion makes you invulnerable to Vael, does mostly physical damage except for his Flame Breath. If you are at the end of the fight, towards the end of the fight, 6 seconds left, you're in execute phase with all your cooldowns up and you're really on the threshold of pulling aggro, if you pop your Limited Invulnerability Potion, you will be essentially immune, and as long as Vael dies within the 6 seconds the potion is up, you'll be fine. So you're executing, you're about to pull threat, you pop your lip, then you can keep executing for 6 seconds, keep doing tons of damage. If Vael doesn't die, and if Vael dies, then you're good. If Vael does not die after those 6 seconds, he's going to turn around and kill you. Or worse, flame breath your raid. One thing that we want to consider on the Vael fight is that you want to be very careful with aggro. As a Fury Warrior, you can do so much damage, and unlike a dagger rogue, you cannot vanish. So you're gonna have to watch your screen. If you take a look at my screen right here, I keep my threat meter right here. I'll link the add-on for the best threat meter within the description. But you're going to want to keep a good eye on that threat meter, because Vael will one-shot you if you pull aggro. And worse than that, if you pull aggro and you're not positioned properly, or if you pull it really fast and you're not ready, and it's the wrong time with Vael, you could pull aggro and he could flame breath your raid, killing a lot of people. That might cause a lot of people to lose their world buffs and get pretty mad at you, or also even worse, wipe your raid, causing everyone to lose their buffs and just, you know, really scuff your night. And you can tell as some people have been getting world buffs more, you know, nothing takes the wind out of a raid knight's sails more than losing world buffs very early within the raid. So if we take a look at my screen here, cooldowns you're going to use on Vael when you're going for a parse. You're going to use Diamond Flask, Death Wish, Mighty Rage Potion, and Recklessness. Now, you're going to want to time those cooldowns based upon your previous kill times on Vael. Personally, based on my boss's kill times, I am Diamond Flasking at 100%, Death Wishing when Vael is at 24%, and then using a Mighty Rage Potion at 16%, and Recklessness, using Recklessness at around 14%. So that means that as soon as the fight starts, I'm going to pop Diamond Flask. I'm going to use Death Wish at 24%, Mighty Rage Potion at 16%, and then Recklessness at 14%. On this particular attempt, I was going for a parse on Razorgore. I already have an orange parse on Vael, so I'm not as worried about it. So I don't have Diamond Flask up, and I do not have Recklessness up. But I'm going to assume that for those going for a parse on this fight, you want to save those cooldowns for this fight. Once you have already gotten your great parse on Vael, I would recommend maybe chilling out a little bit. This is an easy fight to pull aggro on and ruin your night, lose your world buffs, unless your tank's an absolute god. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fight here. So we're eating, I'm getting my food buffs up, and everyone's sort of, you know, inching closer and closer to Vael, getting very excited and ready to go. You know, Vael starts his RP. We can see here that combat starts in 18 seconds. So what I did before is, you want a good practice to get into as a Fury Warrior is blood raging before the fight. So you build a little bit of rage and you can apply your battle shout. So you don't have to do that when Vael's a short fight, under a minute. You're going to want to have battle shout up before you start attacking, before really the boss fight starts, so you don't have to waste a GCD on applying battle shout. So go ahead and have that out. I have a WeakAura that tells me when battle shout's not out. You'll see here it's flashing. That means I don't have battle shout. I'll link that. That's a really good reminder, because battle shout's a lot of attack power. If you don't have that up, you're gimping yourself in a big way on your DPS. So I blood rage, I get ready to apply my battle shout. There I go, I apply it. I'm all ready to go here. What you want to do when Vael's really about to start with this is, you're going to want to let your tank should know what to do on this fight in order to do a lot of threat. They're probably using very fast weapons so they can heroic strike on every attack. Some of them pop. Our tank pops Recklessness at the start and Death Wish, and they just do a ton of threat. But you're going to want, with how much rage you're going to have on this fight, you could easily pull aggro if you wanted to. So you need to be smart about what you're doing, because a dead warrior does no DPS, so be careful. So here we go. You're going to see here, we're going to get the red shit is going to come from the top of the boss fight, and it's going to imbue us with Essence of the Red. There we go, and we're live. So we're running up to Vael. We're going to give the tank a few seconds here. You can already see that my tank already has 3.7k threat on the boss, which is great. I can pretty much start my rotation now. I'm still going to give him a second, but we pretty much can go live. And with Essence of the Red pumping out that threat, I'm already at 83% threat. It's only going to keep getting higher. So now's the time to start weaving in heroic strikes with every single attack. So I start my rotation. Now, I didn't really go a lot into my rotation on the last video, but a quick little reminder here is you want to prioritize Bloodthirst and Whirlwind. Bloodthirst first, Whirlwind secondary priority. Keep them on cooldown. Never let them come off never let them just sit there. Always have them on cooldown, with priority on Bloodthirst. And then with this fight, you're going to want to put a heroic strike on every single attack that you do. If your tank is having threat issues and you constantly find yourself right on the threshold of pulling threat, then use cleave instead. It does a little bit less threat. So you'll see I have a swing timer here. I'll link this WeakAura. If you're not using WeakAuras to see when you need to show you when you have heroic strike queued and cleave queued, I will link one. Get it. It is the best thing you can do as a Fury Warrior besides looking up when to use your cooldowns. So you'll see here my bar changes to blue when I have heroic strikes queued. This means that at the end of my main hand weapon swing, I'm going to let a heroic strike off with the attack. So you'll see that I have heroic strike queued, Bloodthirst on cooldown, Whirlwind on cooldown, and I'm almost still rage capped. So we keep them going here. You'll see I'm constantly queuing up another heroic strike. It turns blue. There we go. More heroic strikes. I mean, you can't use all your rage. It's really insane until you hit execute. So we'll see here, just a quick check at 23%. I'm going to be death wishing very, very shortly. I've got 2 procs of Crusader up. If we look here at my little WeakAura to track how much attack power I have 2,800 attack power. It's ridiculous. This is a really fun fight. And yeah, so now what we're thinking of as we go into execute phase is how are we going to do the most executes without pulling aggro. So you'll see I pop Death Wish, I start queuing into my heroic strikes, keep them going, and now we're in execute phase. So as soon as execute phase starts here, another thing I will link is normal vanilla bars aren't going to make it very easy for you to show the boss's health percentage. And as a Fury Warrior, you need to know what the boss's health percentage is, not only to know when it's time for execute phase, but also to know when to use your cooldowns based upon your research before the fight. So I'll go ahead and link a very simple add-on that does show the boss's health percentage. You can put it anywhere on the screen. I simply drag it to right in the middle of the enemy bar, which is what works for me. Figure out what works for you, put it where it needs to go, but you do need to have that. And basically what you'll see what I do is that I execute and I keep heroic strikes going on every single attack. And you'll see here that my tank is just absolutely being a lord here. He is far ahead above me, but you're going to see how quickly I climb up threat once executes do start. So just 4K execute, another 4K execute. I could have done a better job of keeping heroic strike up right now, but you'll see that I went from the tank being 15-20K threat ahead of me to I'm kind of knocking on his door now with only 4K away. So right now I did use a mighty rage potion. What I would consider doing if I was going for a parse and in this similar situation, I would probably consider using a lip, probably around right now. There's probably, I don't know exactly how much time's left in the fight right now, but there's most likely not too much time left. I'd probably lip around right now, and I'd just go ham because I'm very, very close to pulling aggro. But you'll see here, I am top EPS doing 1.7K, which is really good. And yeah, I just kind of keep the executes coming with Essence of the Red. I mean, you really just keep them going all the time. And that's really about it. We're going to go ahead and kill him. If we rewind just a little bit just to see what threat was like right before he died, I am 1K away from pulling. That's a big execute crit away from the boss turning on you and killing you, or breathing on your raid and killing a lot of people in your raid. So right now, if you're going for your parse and you notice that this is happening to you and you can't use a Mighty Rage Potion, then I would highly, highly recommend using a limited invulnerability potion on this fight. So yeah, that's one thing that you can do if you're running into threat problems. Mighty Rage Potion is really nice to use on this fight, but with how much rage you have on this, I would prioritize using a limited invulnerability potion if threat is more of an issue as opposed to just doing damage. It's very easy. It's not easy. I mean, you do need to stay composed. One thing I like to preach as a Fury Warrior is composure. Stay composed under pressure with all of this rage, with all of these buffs and consumables. You're doing a lot of damage. stay calm, do your rotation. It's not the most complex thing in the world, but if you go too hard, you can mess up and die. Let's check out how I did on that fight. If we scroll down, I top DPS, did around 1,663 DPS. Very good. And if we look at the rankings, that was a 96 percentile parse. So really good. There's my orange parse for Vael, and I can start going hard on some of the other fights, trying to get all those orange parses. That's really it for Razorgore. As your guild kills Razorgore faster and faster each week, you're going to want to adjust when you use your cooldowns. You're going to be able to use Death Wish very, very early. The top guilds in the world literally pre-pop Death Wish and Recklessness and kill Razorgore and kill Vaelastrasz in 15 seconds. It's insane. So that may or may not be you. If it is you, look up your boss kill time so that you know to pre-pop Death Wish. If you're still at around a minute kill time, or if you're still at around 44 seconds like we are, then look up your boss times and know the specific percentage when to use your cooldowns, and relay when to use those by using the add-on I'm linking with this video to know exactly when that percentage comes up. Make your little note card, make your reminder, pop your cooldowns at the right time, heroic strike on every single attack, start executing at 20%, watch your threat, and you're going to do very good damage on this fight. You can do more damage than anyone else. You know, you're going to see your dagger rogues be very competitive on this fight, but you know, competition is good. It's fun to I go back and forth with the rogue in my guild, and it's all good fun. So guys, more guides to come for the rest of the BWL fights. If you are enjoying these videos, please like and subscribe. It does help out me grow this new channel, and I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks everybody, and have a great rest of the day.